Today, we're going to take a look at an IUL policy and look at an annual statement. So a lot of times we get questions. I want to see a policy that's been around, see this in real time, a policy's been in force for a while, see how it's working and see where we're at right now. So we're going to take a look at this policy, one that's been around since 2012, and we're going to look at the fees, where it's at, and look forward where we're going to be at going in the future. I've done other videos on this, so make sure you watch on the playlist this IUL Work series, and you can see lots of statements, lots of policies, in-force illustrations, and statements of where policies are, years down the road. So stay tuned. I'm Aaron Andrew, and we're going to take a look at a IUL statement of a policy that's been around since April of 2012. So we're going to take a look at this and take a look at my screen. So as we take a look at the screen now, we're going to see this policy and see where we're sitting now. So this annual statement you can see is as of April of this year of 2025. Time of this recording is, almost beginning of August of 2025. You can see this statement here. This policy has been around since April 12th of 2012. And in this statement, as of a few months ago in 2025, let's kind of see where this one's sitting. Now, this client's got a few different policies. This policy, he's got one that he does more aggressive with multipliers, where we're actually paying, if you watch some of our other videos, they're paying extra costs to get bigger returns. So this policy he's kind of turned it into, he's had this one again since 2012, turn it into more of his conservative, has that money currently in the fixed account. So our returns are kind of lower than what he could be getting in indexing, but this is what he has chosen. That's what's kind of nice, is you can choose each year on a given year, do we want to go more in the fixed account or do we want to go more into the more aggressive indexed accounts? I want to say aggressive because they still have guarantees of zero as the hero, but you'll see that here in a second, that he actually chose pretty good this past year actually, because this is back in April, right during the tariff war, where the market kind of had crashed and it wasn't very high from point to point over a 1 year period. So we'll kind of see where it's at. So back in the day, this client was putting in $24,000 a year in the beginning of this policy, and it was with a level death benefit. So in this example, he opened this up at a young age at 33. So some of the other videos I've posted, you want to see some of them I have that started at 70, at 63. I just recorded some of those that you can go back and watch. But on this one, the client was younger at 33, put in money for about 5-6 years. Then, because the way it was structured, they couldn't put any more money in until about the 12th year. And then they've been able to start paying more money into the policy. So we'll actually see that on an in-force illustration. So this past year, they actually didn't pay into it, yet. So they hadn't paid anything into it over that past year. But this account was worth $182,000 is what his policy is worth. You can see this past year he earned $8,542. So what was that interest? Where did it come from? So let's scroll down and I'll come back to this page in a minute. Let's go down and look at the interest. So because of the way the market was going over the past year from April to April, because again, your returns a lot of the times on these are based on a 1 year basis from your anniversary date or when you put your money in. So this one's on your anniversary date. So you can see that the index accounts was 1%, 1. This one was 0, 3, 7 on this trigger account. This one's 0, 2, 6. So there's one a little higher. 1, 3. So you can see a lot of the accounts were 0 or kind of lower because of what was going on in April of 2025, that the market had kind of come down. Like the S&P point to point was barely positive. It was only up 3%. You can see kind of the top that I just circled right there. So the market was only up 3% over a 1 year basis. All right. And so in these accounts, you can see on some of these, like just a year prior, like this S&P monthly sum and this NASDAQ monthly sum were like in the 20% range. So what's cool is if you got those kind of returns on the previous year, those gains are locked in, and then you reset for the next year. We get 0. We don't lose though. We don't lose anything. Okay. So this client, though, scroll down to the next page. This is where all of his money was this past year. So he wanted to allocate all the money to the fixed account because, like I said, he's got another policy he started years ago, a couple other ones, and those ones are more aggressive he's doing. So he's had this one more in the fixed account right now. So that last year, he earned 4.7% guaranteed was the fixed rate. So yeah, that's where his $8,500 of interest came from, was being in the fixed account. Now, this next year, we could always change it. If he wants to, he could change. He can go to indexed accounts. And he could get, more aggressive and earn, other index returns. For example, just, 6 months before this or 4 months before this, if we just glance at another statement here for a minute, let's go to one right here. This other one that I was showing on another video here. I mean, this same exact policy, you can see some of those same index accounts just 4 months prior earned 21, 8, 9, 10, 8%. You see those kind of returns. So if he wants, he can choose every year. You can choose in these policies whether you want to do the fixed account, whether you want to choose index accounts. Okay, so going back to this for a minute though, let's look at his fees. So this past year, his cost of insurance was $771 and his expense charge was $90. So in this policy, he earned $8,500, $700 or $800 about went out in fees. And so that's why his account went from 182 to 189. You plus the interest, you minus out the fees equals 189. Really simple, you guys. The cool thing about IUL compared to like a whole life, for example, is IUL is full disclosure. You see exactly what your interest is, whether it's zero in a given year or whether it's really high in other years with the indexing strategies. Everything's laid out on the table. What your fees are, what your interest is. It looks awesome where you can just see it all on paper, okay? Now his net surrender value is 189 down here, or 186, excuse me. As far as what's liquid to him right now, there's still a small surrender charge in this older policy. What that means is if you cancel, the little penalty, but that goes away in this policy at the end of the 15th year. He's almost there. Okay, so let's scroll down and look at something else here. I want to show you guys the death benefit. So if we look at his death benefit amount, you see the death benefit is $1 million. So he started this at a young age. So the death benefit required when he was 33 years old was $1 million for how much money he wanted to put into this policy. $1,036,000, you can see there to be exact. So let's go over this math and help you understand the fees of IUL. His insurance is $1 million. Let's scroll back up. His cash value is $189. Okay, so we got $1,036,000. I'm gonna do this on my calculator here to get exact. His cash value is $189,906. So if we subtract those two differences, so his death benefit again is $1,036,000. And what I'm doing is I'm taking out the cash value of 189, okay, 906. So that equals, what does that equal? That equals 846. Why did I do that? That is his net amount at risk. All right, so he is, what is he now? He's about, now in the 14, he's about 47-ish. So he's about 47 now. So at age 47, for $846,000 of insurance, not $1 million, you guys, because $189,000 of the death benefit is his own cash. Because sometimes people say, oh, they cheat you. They don't give you both your cash value and your death benefit. They give you just your death benefit and they keep your cash value. No. You've got to understand that you're only paying for the difference in insurance cost. So this gentleman now at this age of 47, if he dies, $189,000 is his money and it blossoms to $1,036,000. All right. So technically, there is only $846,000 of net amount at risk. That's the insurance risk. So the insurance company is charging him $700, almost $800 at age 47 for that much insurance risk. Okay. So let's take a look at what this is going to look like going forward. So I have what's prepared called an in-force illustration. Now this gentleman is still working, so he's actually starting to pay into the policy again. So he has started to pay. So this past year, he threw in, $22,000 you can see here and kind of caught up to what he can pay in. So that's this year in the 14th. So this next year, he's going to be paying $11,000 a year into the policy. Now, if he wanted to, he could actually drop that death benefit down to like $300,000 to $400,000 and his fees would drop down to like probably $200, like really cheap because you drop that insurance and his fees would come down. He wants the insurance right now. He's at a young age still. If he passed away at 47, he wants his wife and kids to get that $1 million and to have that insurance coverage, which is great. And that $700 is paying for that insurance risk right now. Okay, but as he continues to pay money in, okay, he'll have a little bit of what we call a premium charge. So that's why you see here the charge a little bit more than $700 because we have a little bit of a charge when you put in money inside of an IUL. But you can see what his interest is projected to be. If he chooses those index accounts, you can see here his interest. So yeah, when he hits 56, He'll have about $26,000 going in interest, $2,000 going out in charges. He'll have $477,000. If he dies, his family gets $1,036,000. Again, they don't get both, and we want it that way because we want the fees to be low with the cost of insurance. So down here, as he gets older, costs are going up a little bit, but not much, but his insurance risk is going down because take a look at this when the death benefit goes up right there. So right there at age 64, if he's still paying in $11,000 a year, the max he can pay, you can see that that year we earned $46,000 of tax-free interest, the projection around 6% or so in this example, to be conservative. $2,000 goes out in fees, $844,000 is in the cash value. If he dies, his family gets $1,046,000. Why did the death benefit go up? Because the government requires a certain amount of corridor or amount of insurance above our cash value. So at this point, let's go to age 70 at the bottom here. So by age 70, he's put all that money in, just over, now just over $200,000. He's got $1,250,000 in his accumulation value, and his surrender value are the same. Interest is $68,000. Okay, charges are about $2,500 at that point. And if he passes away, the family gets $200,000 more than that, gets $1,450,000. So at age 70, our fees are about $2,000, $2,500, because we're paying for about $200,000 of insurance. The difference between $1,250,000 and the $1,450,000. There's a lot of detail, but those of you that want it, that's why you're watching, okay? Let's go to the next page. So by age 71, we finished paying. He can stop anytime he wants, but I'm just showing a projection going forward. And at that point, we got $1,332,000. All has grown tax-free. If we die, the family gets $1.5 million. Now, we take out $87,000 a year tax-free from the policy. So that's coming out in the form of what we call an index loan, where we're borrowing at 5%. The money in the policy is still earning the index returns. So we're taking out $87,000 tax-free. And yeah, this projects that we could take out to age 100. We took out $2.6 million tax-free. We put in $288,000, okay? And at that point, we still have $375,000 left. So what's important to note is look at the fees. Notice the fees kind of went up. Let's go back here. The fees went up as he got older. So yes, they went up, when you get up here. So some companies are more, some companies are cheaper. But here they kind of peak at around $20,000. You got $700,000 in there though, $900,000 if you pass away. So it's the insurance risk that is there that you're paying for. So we get here to age 100. Why at age 96 are the fees only $90? It's only that admin fee or expense charge you guys saw a minute ago in the statement. Why? Because here the government allows the cash value and the death benefit to be the same. There's no insurance risk anymore. So you're not paying for any insurance cost because the cash value and the death benefit are the same. It's pretty cool. It's still tax-free because it's still classified as life insurance, and it'll stay that way to age 120. But that's why your fees are just $90 now in this example. So really cool kind of seeing an in-force illustration of a client that's been in it now for 14 years, coming up on their 15th year now into the policy. They're going to continue to pay. We have our interest, we have our fees, we have our cash value, you have our death benefit, and how the policy kind of works at starting this at a young age and looking at a policy that's, 14 years in right now. So hope you enjoyed that, looking at the statement, looking at the cost and understanding, those of you the engineers, looking at the details of a policy and where it's at years down the road. And thanks for watching. Make sure you look at our other videos. And if you want to see this, for yourself, make sure you contact us. You go to laserfund.com, make sure you get a copy of our book to learn more. And it's awesome when clients read the book and then, meet with us to we can show you how a plan will look like for you, how an IUL would be structured in your situation with your age. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for other videos on Does IUL Really Work?